from what can only be described as a slow wrath.
A slow wrath. I think that's the perfect way to phrase it.
It's this grinding, multi-generational cycle of addiction, crushing poverty, and just complete entanglement with the criminal justice system. We aren't just here to list off crimes.
No, definitely.
We are here to examine the deeply human cost of this environment and to ask, how do people try to rebuild a life when the foundation itself is entirely fractured?
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if we want to understand the individual people in these documents, we first have to understand the massive invisible forces pressing down on them.
The macro level.
Right. Because this slow wrath doesn't just start with one person waking up and making a bad choice. It starts with the air they breathe. I'm looking at this Department of Justice press release from February 2024, and the scale of the operation it describes is wild. What exactly are we looking at here?
Well, you are essentially looking at the architecture of an illicit economy.
Okay.
This press release details a multi-state methamphetamine and money laundering conspiracy. The U.S. Attorney's Office announced that 24 individuals were indicted by a federal grand jury.
24 people.
24 people, all linked in a single interconnected web operating across a really massive geographic footprint.
Yeah, the geography alone here is staggering. The indictment spans from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, all the way to Denver, Colorado, up to Steen, Minnesota, and down into the reservations.
Right. And if you look at the penalties attached to these charges, you really see the heavy hammer of the federal government coming down.
What kind of numbers are we talking about?
We are talking about mandatory minimums of 10 years,
Wow.
stretching all the way up to life in federal prison.
Wow. Life.
Yes. To understand how a multi-state money laundering and distribution conspiracy operates on a rural reservation, you have to realize it functions almost like a dark market franchise.
A franchise. Explain that.
So drugs are imported from larger hubs like
Okay.
Denver, right? Then they are broken down into smaller quantities and distributed through these local networks. The money then flows back up the chain, often laundered through cash-intensive businesses, wire transfers, or honestly, sometimes just bundled in hidden compartments in vehicles.
Just cash stuffed in a door panel.
Exactly. It creates a robust, highly lucrative underground economy in places where above-ground economic opportunities might be really scarce.
And the sources show this isn't some sudden new phenomenon that just popped up in 2024.
Not at all. I mean, if you look further down on the stack there's the 2011 case of Luella Bowman.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
She was a 46-year-old woman from Nebraska who pled guilty to conspiracy to distribute meth on the Rosebud Reservation back in 2010.
And she caught, what, a 5-year sentence?
A 5-year federal sentence, yeah.
Yeah.
So just within the limited scope of the documents we have today, we are seeing an entrenched, sophisticated, illicit market that has been operating for well over a decade. It's an entire ecosystem.
But when you have a sprawling underground economy like that, the government doesn't just sit back.
No, they build an equally massive infrastructure to fight it.
Right. And reading through these documents, the sheer number of law enforcement acronyms is dizzying.
It's alphabet soup.
Truly. We've got the Northern Plains Safe Trails Drug Task Force, which the SBI formed back in 2001, pulling in state DCI agents, local police, tribal reps. And then there's the Tri-State Drug Task Force, operating since 1995 across Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska.
And you really have to consider what that level of policing actually feels like on the ground.
Yeah, day to day.
The stated goal of these task forces is obviously to stop the flow of narcotics. But the resulting reality for a community that is subject